Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2022 Charles Schwab Challenge Picks Preview. One and done. And maybe we'll talk about some other stuff as well, like a recap of the PGA Championship. Reminder to smash the like to the episode. Give me your winner down in the comment section. Sub to Mayo Media Network. Sub to the newsletter, free, where the final bets will be this week, down in the description. That'll come out on Wednesday evening. And what else do we got on the go? Oh yeah, Listeners League. I don't have the link for it yet. There's only 2,000 spots this week because they were delayed in handing out the link. I still don't have it. I will add it the moment that I get it. But you should go reserve your spot the moment that's available. For the podcast listeners, I really hope I get it before the podcast comes out because it's hard to update shit on Apple Podcasts. Either way, Geoff Fienberg is on the line. Big day for you, sir. You had both of the... How is it that when I bet Will Zalatoris and Luke List, they end up in a playoff together, sweat-free? You bet Justin Thomas and Will Zalatoris, and here you are, a sweat-free playoff at a major. That's big.
Yeah, that was enjoyable. Like, I had this quarter-second moment where maybe I was going to join my wife and girls to go get ice cream just as the playoff was starting. But the other part of me was like, no, it's actually perfect. They're leaving the house. We're getting extra sloppy. Just a wild day. Just a wild day. And as we sit here this morning, my main takeaways are, like, Justin this morning is a hero and, you know, puts himself in a new status, and we expect more to come. But had like Mito hit the putt on 17 or not had that collapse on 18, we're talking about Justin in the exact same way we would be talking about Rory today. Like, all those putts that they should have made, that these are super elites that could have put a barracuda hold on the leaders' throats as they were trying to finish. But golf is a weird game, and it didn't. And Justin is a hero on a path to being one of the greats of our generation.
I'm with you. It's just so weird how that can turn out. And it really looked like it was Rory who was going to do this when he was, 4 under through 5 holes. And I wonder if anyone had told him, like, hey,
if you only need 5, do things turn out different? Because he didn't make a birdie the rest of the day, but he was all over. Like, he played like Thomas. Yes, he made the run to catch up. I don't think that anyone on the course was better than Rory overall. Couldn't have been. Every time I'm tracking Rory, it's another like 10 to 12 foot putt. And you're like, oh, here it goes. Like, you're going to get his mo back for the back 9 finish. Couldn't hit a single putt. When Justin missed that putt on 15, I was like, oh my God, like what's the matter with you? I was like, that's why I don't like betting Justin, because I need the exact same putt luck I need with Will Zalatoris, and he's 15 to 1. Hate betting super elites who need putt luck. Like, that's what I was saying as he missed his putt on 15. And again, it sort of came in my head on 18. Like, this is really silly, and it doesn't matter. It's actually going to be the dumbest comment ever. Like, Justin Thomas won a major, and I was about to say John Rahm would have hit that putt on 18.
When you go back and look through the numbers, Justin Thomas, was he the best in the field? He was
out of the bad wave. He had to have been. I know guys
he was second best in the field on the greens behind Lucas Herbert.
He was outstanding. He's outstanding. His round Friday morning was some of the most perfection golf I have seen. In many ways, it was like his players round. What happened Saturday was really unfortunate to him. The CBS didn't even show us him. Him go for the green in 2 and duff it into the trees on 13 on Saturday, which led to a bogey. Like, he topped a ball that the broadcast didn't even show us. And that's when his down spiral, like, really got bad after that shot coming home on Saturday. And he was 8 shots behind. Patty was 8 shots behind yesterday at one point when he made his bogey. I have a friend who doesn't bet small. This is the exact same friend who hit a monster on Phil last year live. That one he made on Friday afternoon. This one he made yesterday 100-1 on Justin Thomas. And I bet you it was higher at one point during the day yesterday when he was a full 8 back.
So your friend is like the anti-Tim?
He's the anti-Tim. He's a true big game hunter. Yes, no, he is truly a big game hunter. That's how I would describe him.
Well, maybe we should take a look at Cust for a second, only because strong week for the Anderkirks. Scheffler, his pick to win, misses the cut. First missed cut in ages for old Scotty. And then we were talking about this on the Cut Sweat show on Friday night when he thought that Mito Pereira was Min Woo Lee. And he got them confused with one another because apparently he thought they were the same guy. And threw all of his support behind Mito. And then all day I'm getting these texts. Well, Mito looks pretty good. Mito looks pretty good. He's not going to blow it. It's like he doesn't realize, as of yet, that the worst possible time for the Anderkirks to hit is when it's going to hit. And it happened.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
Well, you should thank him.
Tim also predicted that the 10 underscores were a laughing stock. This thing was going to be 20 under par. And look what happened. So yeah, Tim's an animal. I don't know. You're right. If guys knew it had to be 5 under, Pat, I'm sure it changes a lot of mindsets. Fleetwood started with a ring of bogeys, and then he went on this insane run to come home. I was so proud of that finish in that event for Fleetwood. And what do I say about Matthew Fitzpatrick all the time? Well, there's two things. The thing that we've been saying this year is essentially if that tournament was another half hour, he wins. Certainly wasn't the case. But my main Fitzpatrick point, and the fact that I can say this is kind of a compliment because he contends a lot, but every time he needs his game abandons him on Sundays. And it's not just like, oh, he doesn't do this well and he did that bad on Sundays. It's the things he does well. He doesn't even do well on Sundays when he's contending. It's so weird. His game truly on North American soil abandons him on Sundays.
It's a really tough spot to think about. Like, let's say, for example, Zalatoris, ends up he ended up making what? Par on 18.
Birdie 17, par 18.
Par 18.
And he missed a putt very similar to his putt on 17 in regulation in the second playoff hole.
Sure. So the 3-putt. So let's just say he doesn't end up 3-putting, which was really the death knell, but he had made him making the bogey from hitting it out of bounds on that par 3, like that made up for it. Will Zalatoris did not have a poor putting week. He actually, in fact, had a very good putting week. So I don't know what the fuck they were talking about the entire time. Either way, he makes that. It's -6. Thomas is out of the playoffs. Mito, that ball on 17 goes an extra inch and it's in the cup. He's either in the playoff or he does something different on the 18th tee. And when we think about Mito, look, he brings out the 3-wood on 18, doesn't put it in the water. It's a completely different situation. So to say that like Fitzpatrick gags it away, he didn't play great golf, but no one really played great golf anywhere. Like the outside of Thomas, who in that final, Cam Young played the best of everyone from like the final 4 pairings, except he couldn't make a putt, and then eventually it just turned sideways on him. But through like 13 holes, he was the one who seemed to be as stress-free as possible.
Yeah, he yawned on the first tee. Which is funny because like a few minutes before that, they'd spoken about how his like demeanor gives you, like he's got the most stoic demeanor in the world. A truly great performance. I joked about Cam Young. No, it wasn't a joke to me on Sunday or yesterday afternoon, because last Sunday I was looking for Cam Young futures on a book and they didn't even have them up for the event. And then on Monday they had them at like 66 and 70-1. They didn't even have them the day before. So I was like really ruining that, and credit to the people that bet him. Do you know our boy Cammy had the JT, Willie, Cam Young? Like he had this thing insanely circled. And there are a lot of us with the JT Will Zalatoris like bets this week weren't like lots of people like had both those guys in their pack. So there are a few of us getting that stress free. I was kind of torn. My payouts were pretty similar. Willie Z, I kind of called for like we all kind of just called it for like a couple months in some ways. And Justin, who I often acknowledge as my least favorite of the players we consider super elites, not even skill-wise, that I was happy I just wasn't stubborn enough to just not make the bet that felt so right to make. Pat, I got to ask you this, though, because we often talk. JT, like, so boring, so no needles. He's obviously no one's Tiger, but he's not like beloved. He's obviously younger than Rory. He's not like a golden child that will take the oxygen like Spieth. He's not like a Brooks or a Bryson that we gravitate to for different reasons. Can this help? Like, this obviously has to help, but he's still like, it doesn't probably break him through those other guys either, right?
I don't think so. And just back to your Fitzpatrick point, just for a second, like, the point I was trying to make was, and I apologize for my voice. My voice went out on the weekend, so it's not all the way back yet. I can't yell. If I try to go any higher than this, it like breaks up. So deal with me on this one. But Mito makes par. Zalatoris doesn't three-putt. Justin Thomas, the narrative isn't, oh, two-time major winner. What a gutsy performance. It's guy gags away another major he should have won. And we start talking about him like, because he did it last week at the Byron Nelson. He was there to make his run. Oh, he gagged on Sunday. This week would have been like, well, if he just had a decent Saturday, he would have won. Like, it's such a finite difference that when you're talking about Fitzpatrick, like, you're dealing with one isolated outcome, right? And that's the only one that we ever get to see. But, if you play like the multiverse of golf, how many times does Fitzpatrick actually win on Sunday this time around? Like, you only get to see it so often that, labeling him a choker, he's still a young guy. Yeah,
no, I didn't. I'm not even there with the choker. His game, the things he does best abandon him on Sundays when he's contending. So, like, his strengths are no longer his strengths and his weaknesses remain. That is sort of just my point. Now, he was part of a group of, I love chasing like first time major winner in that like 30 to 60 range. Like it's like my fetish to like try to pick out that guy. And he was that, like, we spoke about him last week. He was part of that with Willie and Burns and Neiman. And he was part of that group that I was swimming around in that range. I did not have him, but no, I'm not there to say he's a choker. And the fact that he contends, golf is a very awkward thing. Like, contending is hard. Fitzpatrick beat 150 guys this week. We look at it almost from like as when we had Schefter, I said, yeah, it's like so weird. Like when you're from like a team sport where it's like win or lose, but golf is different where it's like, no, you beat 152 guys this week. You got more FedEx Cup points than 152 guys this week. You won more money than 152 guys this week. Like, you did great.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, I don't know. Feel bad for Matthew Fitzpatrick is all I'm saying. Because it seemed like, was it weird that they weren't showing Justin Thomas shots down the stretch either? Wasn't that bizarre?
There were so many commercials. It almost made you appreciate the Masters. They were so long. They weren't even short commercials. Not even all of them had the playthrough. It was a tough watch. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what they didn't show us, but I can't. They showed like him and Rory. We'd see them lining up 10, 12 footers and Rory couldn't make it. They both shot. Well, no, I guess Rory bogeyed at the end. It didn't matter, but nonetheless, yeah, it's just so weird. Like, I'm happy. Like, I want to bet. That's great. But like JT this morning is a generational talent when it's like literally a nose hair from he's just, I don't want to say choker, but like him and Rory gagged it again. Like, can't hit 12-foot putts on the back nine Sunday to do what needs to be done.
Completely agree. Like, it's that big of a difference. Anyway, did you like the Neiman commentary? Because I saw
Loved
people I really liked it, but I saw people complaining about it. I thought that was the perfect use to bring in a player, because what I don't like is when there's actual golf going on and it's like, oh, Joaquin Neiman, tell us about your round, and they show his shots. Like, no, I don't want to see his fucking shots. I want to see the shots that are going on. Like, having someone who was just out there commentate on what is happening. Now, I know that obviously he was rooting for Mito the entire time. That was pretty clear. They've even explicitly said it. So I don't mind that, but I thought it was really good insight.
I thought it was fantastic. We get mad at CBS a lot, and the people who sort of understand CBS's strategy come back to us and say, you don't understand. their television strategy is storytelling. And we get that a lot. And I think that was the best use of it ever. You had his best friend, but you were also showing shots. We weren't just showing Mito shots. I remember seeing Will Zalatoris shots and Cam Young shots, and all the pertinent shots were still being shown in that interview. And their ability, because most people have never, most people don't even know who Mito Pereira is. So it's an opportunity to get to know him a little through one of his friends. I think talking about the vibes in the house last night with Neiman were outstanding. I thought the tidbit that he's kind of homeless at the moment. He sends anytime he wins a trophy, he sends all his Corn Ferry trophies to Neiman's house for storage. I ate that up. Had they not also had a camera on golf, I would have probably been frustrated, not have enjoyed it so much. But I thought that was outstanding work. And great point to you. No one cares about your round today, Neiman. We didn't need to know anything. They did that perfection. I rarely credit when credit is due, and they're getting it from me on that one.
What did you think of the course? I thought Southern Hills was great. I liked the way that this played out. It was tough. I mean, you were pretty upset on the Friday show about the AM PM wave and how
I was just upset. It was unfortunate that when we were doing the cut sweat, there wasn't a drop of wind. That happens. That's golf. We see that every week, a major or other. It just seemed like those guys got it so hard. These guys are going to get nothing. It doesn't matter. Guy from the hard wave won anyway.
He was, but he was the only guy of the hard wave that was up there, which is kind of funny.
The course, I again, as I've spoken about the last few weeks, I've continued my mea culpa on what this championship has become. I think its greatest asset is still the schedule change. When you get to be second and not last, when you have those three other majors before, it doesn't feel we've seen, it just, that helps. The course selection, it's just been outstanding. The setup was great. The credentials process was outstanding. So you have to tip your hat once again, the PGA of America, bang on. And where are we going next year? You think I should know that? You think I know that they have them booked for a decade plus, probably?
I actually don't know where they're at next year.
I remember seeing it yesterday because they advertised it. Now I feel so salient. Another gem.
That's where Duffner won, right?
I believe so. Another treasure of American golf. So great choice.
Were you impressed with your pal Ricky that he didn't just completely collapse? He actually is this now his thing? He's like a PGA Championship specialist where he can come inside, where he can make the cut there at least?
I'm an apologist in many ways for Ricky, but yeah, I was thrilled for Ricky. And I know they're on different planes, and I mentioned it even earlier, but I was thrilled for Ricky. I'm an apologist because I just like them, so I'll glad hand maybe something that's not good enough for you. But Tommy Fleetwood's performance from the difficult wave, the Prince of Shinnecock, as our boy Andy Lack refers to him. Oh, if only Shinnecock. I melted for him and his week. So yeah, it was a great vibes all around. I enjoyed this championship greatly. I'll probably look to go into that Southern Hills merch shop this week as things go on sale that they didn't sell.
I saw you were fighting on Twitter with someone about how it was too hard and they wanted the course to be much easier. That was a fun argument. That was stupid.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that. For anyone, I really liked the people, Pat, who responded to me glad handing the PGA and their course and their setup and some other things from last week with I appreciated the ones that knew what I was doing because I'm not well and I can't help myself. But there are others that really turn that into debating the event. But yeah, I don't know. One guy, it was a 1 of 100. A guy doesn't like watching the hard golf. Enjoyed the Byron Nelson more. I don't know. I have nothing to say to that. There's a reason we don't play major championships at what does Rom call them? Goddamn putting contests.
Well, maybe they
don't get me wrong. Phoenix is fun. There are holes that are fun. He's the only entertaining part of the day was when when guys drive the 17th green. I don't know. We have different, I don't know.
I always find harder to golf to be more entertaining.
100%.
Only because it's not like, oh man, if he doesn't put it to 4 feet, then he's absolutely cooked. No, like stuff can happen in front of you. If you get rewarded so much for good shots. That's why they host major championships at hard courses. Bad shots result in ultimate penalties, and great shots get rewarded, and huge swings can happen. That's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to see them battling for par. Like I think that is the true test. I don't think boat race is I like when the field is neutralized by talent. We'll put it that way. So yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't know, weird week. Cantley again, right? That'll be a talking point. I think I bet him, so whatever. It's easy to laugh at when you hit the winner. I don't know what to make of that though. That's so weird. And now it's like going to be a full-blown thing going forward. Like I find it hard to believe a guy that like can win twice at Memorial and be great in the FedEx Cup like can't handle a major championship setup. I just can't get there mentally.
It just seems really bizarre. Maybe he's in his own head about it. Who knows? Like I actually have no idea. The only one that I can really remember of him having a good major was when he made that run at the Tiger Masters. And by the time all the leaders finally got to the same hole as him, they were way ahead of him.
Yeah. That was one tease. That was like his second Masters. You're right. That's the only one. The US Open, I don't know, but every profile, be long and straight, par 70, par 71. I don't know. Well, we will see. And if you told me Cam Smith was going to lead the field tee to green, I might have put like mortgage payments on him to win the tournament. And it's fun. That's how crazy golf is, right? Like how on earth was he nowhere near it? I said he wasn't horrible, but wow. Silly game. Funny sport.
Yeah, he ended up coming T13, lost almost 4 strokes putting. I think he and Spieth, there was someone else as well. I think inside, it was either 10 or 15 feet that they missed 15 putts or something crazy like that. I think it was inside 10 feet. They each missed 15 putts. Like, that's outrageous.
Wild. Also, I always really enjoyed Hatton. I think he's like charming and awkward, but he's like now potentially leaving that zone for me, Pat, and entering this like Billy Horschel territory, which isn't good.
Why? What's wrong? Good. What do you got against Billy Horschel?
I don't not like anyone anymore. As much as like I got to live the gimmick on a couple of them. He's truly one that like when he comes across the TV, it's like I don't know. I can't stand him. Can't stand him.
The problem is like CBS isn't doing him any sort of services. The only time that he gets to be on TV is when he's acting a fool.
Yeah, the self-talk. Yeah, you're right. And it's not like, I haven't said things to myself on a golf course before. And he keeps it real. He doesn't hold it in. Like there's parts of it I respect. I don't know. I just have a blockade on the guy. Like, nah. So I don't want to see Hatton, at least in my mind, get there. For a lot of people, Hatton is probably already like way worse than Horschel, but by a definitive gap. But I'm not there yet. But yeah, Hatton, come on, man.
All right. Anything else on the PGA Championship?
I'm trying to think.
I was watching the Will Zalatoris drop without sound on, and apparently it didn't make much of a difference as no one could figure out what was going on. He could have fought a little bit harder for a free drop, I feel like.
You wish he had a little Phil, Bryson, Spieth, Reed in him. Incredible. The 4 and the 3 that he made on those front 9 par 3s would have been everything had he been able to pull it off. Oh, Willie, why? How many withdrawals are you expecting?
Ooh, I don't know. I think that people are just going to play. Like, it's not that far for one thing.
Haven't played a lot of golf either, most of these guys.
No, like Thomas is in the field. Do you want to get to the Charles Schwab?
Yeah, I'm sure we're like omitting something like that's important to some people, but I don't know. I can't remember.
Colonial CC is the home of the Charles Schwab Invitational. It's just over 7,200 yards. It's a par 70. However, most of the distance is baked into the par 3s and one of the par 5s, which is a 3-shot par 5. So realistically, like when you look at it, it's a bunch of short par 4s. That's what this course is. Anyone in the field is basically live to win. It's not necessarily a putting contest because there are some, I mean, you're going to have to putt well if you want to end up winning, but you can see almost any sort of skill set come out of anywhere. Like who can heat up with their irons, who can make the putts. It's one of those tournaments. Like, do you remember, what was it, the Kevin Na, Tony Finau kind of duel? I don't think you ever saw a final group, even last year with like Kokrak and Spieth as the final two guys going off. Like you just get weird mixes of players at this course contending for titles.
As you run through those, I've had some pretty good luck here in recent years. Yeah, always an eclectic sort of group. This is a great course. Even if it wasn't after, this course always brings out the fields. Texas might do that, I guess, but this course always brings out a great field. I always just have the debate of, there's just so many great players here, Pat. It's almost the same thing as Byron Nelson. It's like, there's so many great players here this week. One or two of them like have to still like have their A game. And KH nipped a couple. He nipped a handful of them. Hideki and JT at the finish line. So I'm sort of in that, as I haven't looked through this a ton off the major, that's still sort of where my head is. Like there's just too many good players here that I'm resisting and probably thinking too far will win.
Like even looking, like just to go back and look at the past champions here, it's not what you would think for a course like this. You would think it would be like, oh, there's probably like a bunch of long shots and end up winning. It's like, now, Kokrak, Berger, Na, Rose, Kisner, Spieth, Kirk. This is the set of Chris Kirk's win, 2015. But like, those are usually some, I mean, I think we hit Na at 60 in 2019. But there's a reason, like, I think that was like a community win. We all felt like that was just way too low for Kevin Na at this event. Kokrak, I think, was like 35-1, something crazy like that. Despite being one of the better players in the field, he may have been longer. Berger, that was the first event out of COVID when he won, and Xander missed that little short putt, and Berger ends up winning. It was Berger, Xander, and Morikawa all at the end. Bryson was up there as well, I think. So it's been good the entire time. So the problem is, like, this field, like you mentioned, is pretty deep, that you can kind of cherry pick all the way down to like the 60-70-1 range again and find some names that you like.
Certainly. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse because we'll get to other names first, but I was pretty attracted to some guys in the 40 to 60 range already.
Good news. I just got an email that the Listeners League link is available. So everyone just go to the description, play in the Listeners League, 3 max entry, only 2,000 spots because it was a bit later in the week. So I thought we'd get to that. Oh, right now, if we go do it, let's fill that up. Sorry it's so small this week. I didn't do the research show, so you get put behind the 8 ball, and I don't want to have a listeners league that I have to like work to fill. 2,000 will be fine for this week. We'll make it bigger for next week, as long as it fills. By the way, Justin Thomas is the betting favorite. He's 8-1. Scotty Scheffler is 10-1. Crazy that Scotty is now just back down to not being the favorite in a field of a non-major. He's behind Thomas again. Spieth is 12. Morikawa is 12. Then it drops to Zalatoris, Hovland, both at 20. Homa at 25, and that's it. Below 30-1. I thought it was kind of strange to see 4 guys 12-1 or worse. You got to feel like that changes throughout the week, right?
You would certainly think that has to change. And noted, some places, DraftKings always likes to start slow at the top, but they give you the nice bones farther down the board. And they sort of, water finds its level at the top as we get sort of into this week, but we don't see that very often. 4 guys under 12-1 at a course that is easy to score at, despite the fact that guys have been winners. My question, the thing that caught my eye the most, Pat, out of everything you just said here, was the very back. Max Homa coming in this low. I didn't win money on Max Homa. I don't think I've ever won money on Max Homa. I'm actually still mad that he beat Finau in that playoff at Riv, despite missing a 2-footer to get us there. But I love Max Homa. I think personality shows how great it is. Said all that, I'm a Homa fan. I'm like not here with this number. Like I'm not here. He has the win, so I guess we could say that. He's 25 and Sam Burns is 35. That's crazy to me. Going to the very top, I don't want to. I might, if I don't bet near the top, I might have a very low investment this week because I honestly think Justin's going to win again. And it's easy to say the morning after. But who was it? I wish I should have been more prepared. Andy Lack had a tweet about what Justin Thomas did last time. Like when he wins, he's one of these guys that gets hurricaned or gets, like a freight train. So I don't know. It could be just a volcano. He was between the longest amount of starts since his first win. There was his drought was the longest it's ever been between starts for wins. It was that last year's Players. Feels like there's a volcano of wins like about to burst on us. So my first thoughts is maybe I want to bet Justin, and I wish Willie withdraws because I don't want to be tempted to bet him. We might have learned our lesson at Byron that Willie is best at the hardest venue. I don't know what numbers we're going to get in the future. They're not going to be kind. We lost our chance at hitting Willie at 50 in a major, but I don't know. Maybe like the hardest courses that neutralize skill will be the places to bet Willie, even at a beaten down line. Birdie parties might not be that place. But like, I'm not going to bet Willie. But I don't think I can. And Hovland has my attention. So that's how I look at the top of the names you just mentioned.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny with Vic coming in a little bit behind, at least in this gap. You're right. At other places, you can find a more reasonable, like 16 on Spieth, 16 on Morikawa, or even an 18 on Morikawa. Obviously, Morikawa is where my attention always goes. And I do think that these types of tournaments, these types of courses in particular, he doesn't play a ton of, but I do feel like they're perfect for him and what he does.
Everywhere is, in my opinion, perfect for him. We spoke about it Friday. I'd never seen Morikawa golf sad almost in my life, Pat. He gave like golf sad vibes on Friday in that group. Was it with Rahm and
Scheffler? You're just getting golf sad vibes, like frustration. Now, I don't know if that was like Rahm rubbing off, like Rahm's dude rubbing off on him a little bit, but that was really strange to see. How was he tee to green? Was it just putts or he just sort of, it did seem like he could hit a putt coming, like when we went on the air Friday, I felt like I watched him miss 12 putts that he could have made. Yeah, he was minus 2.5 strokes putting. He was gained off the tee, gained on approach, gained around the green, couldn't make any putts, missed. Well, I mean, he made the cut, but really, it's very atypical that you come in 55th place in a major and you gain in all three tee to green numbers and lose putting and you still come in 55th. Like, it was a weird week for him. He didn't do anything excellent was kind of the thing. Like, what did Spieth do here? Like, Spieth was great and couldn't putt.
Which is, again, that's like, how much longer is it gonna... I mean, I totally get it. You back Spieth. Like, if I'm backing Spieth, you're like, no, keeping my tee to green, like this putt thing is going to flip for me. Like, in trying to make outright bets, you've got to convince yourself of things. That is an easy place for someone who bets golf to get to. But at what point it would be like, okay, this is like a real thing now. Like, who else did this? Well, I mean, Ricky's such a bottoming out in some ways. It's crazy what's happened to his putting. Old Yeller from 10 feet. But I can't think of like a player. Well, we're not there yet. I don't want to go to these hypotheticals. He's still got way too many events to putt well before I'm going to go anywhere with that with him. It's Texas. Spieth will certainly contend. I have no doubts. Pardon my ignorance. What like part of Texas is this? Because Texas is essentially a country.
Yeah, no, it's in Fort Worth, just outside of Dallas.
So can Spieth still like host his like 6-person slumber party that he had at the Byron?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I Justin or Victor, those are where my mind goes. I really hope I have the willpower to not bet Zalatoris unless someone really talks me into it.
Would it be hard to talk you into betting Zalatoris?
No, but I am a silly believer in like No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. But I think right now at the 20s, matching 20s, I might lean Victor at a course that like can allow him to not have those problems.
I would tend to agree. Like one of the things looking back through time on this course and just looking at the strokes gained plays out, obviously you don't want to be like the worst chipper in the world and chip yourself out of a tournament. However, chipping means a lot less, even with the small greens at Colonial. Like you need to be in good position off the tee and you need to be striping your irons. It's one of those things where if you're gaining too many strokes around the greens, that means you're missing too many greens, which you just can't do here.
Yeah, and I love Willie, and I hope that I'm right, that like he's not going to burn me in a complete goddamn putting contest.
I mean, it's not like the winning scores of this event is like 29 under or anything. Like it's like 14, 15.
Yeah, shit. It's, you know what? It's not even about that. It might be more about like just the exhaustion of the week. What do you think? Like, just as a hypothetical, Justin Thomas withdraws. I'm not expecting him to. I think he's going to be like, mom, dad, fiance, dog, like, let's roll. Like, why stop the Mo? Why stop it? Like, let's just go. It's in Dallas. Like, let's go. There'll be plenty of time to rest before the US Open. But if he did withdraw, like, what do you think a Victor drops to?
If he's at 20, 18?
Yeah, it's probably a couple points. Yeah. So I guess I got him more so than thinking Will can get to 15 under. I know he can, and that's a winning score here. It's me having to play armchair psychologist on what Will's about for the week after last.
I understand why home is at 25-1. It's not a number for me, but because I do think that there are players, I don't want to say significantly better, but either the same or slightly better, 10 to 20 points behind him. But he did just win. He's popular. Like, odds aren't based on overall skill.
You're right. There are a myriad potpourri of factors that make your number. Profile is as big to do with it as any profile and popularity. So not wrong. It's just crazy. Like looking at the DraftKings odds that he's 25, Sam Burns is 35. Yeah, Sam Burns missed the cut at the Nelson, but outside of like 15 guys, Sam Burns played like he had a pretty strong week at a very tough course, and Sam Burns just a winner. So yeah, that one I have my eyes on. I'll be honest right now, 35-1.
All right, well, let's go to the 30 to 60 range. I think it'd be Spieth and then Morikawa for me if I was going to go up there, but those odds are pretty short at the moment. I'll have to wait for better numbers or just wait and see. Burns, Horschel, Berger, Na, Gooch, Kokrak, Sungjae, who's returning from COVID, are all 35-1. Those numbers are changing at some point. Harold Varner, Answer, Webb, Finau are all 40. Davis Riley, Mito, Woodland, Merritt, Tringali are all 50. Then you have Munoz, Bez, Kirk are all 60. I really like that Answer number at 40. I think it's a good number.
Yeah, I totally agree. 40. I'm swimming around. Finau's at 40.
Come on.
Why? Come on.
You're just going back to Finau here?
At 40-1 in this field, he was walking in the finals with Na a year ago, wasn't he?
That was 3 years ago when he was good.
Well, he's not horrible.
He's not good.
No, but at 40-1, I agree. I like Answer. I like Finau. Fleetwood kind of like Zalator. Like Fleetwood is a guy that kind of like it harder layouts, but a 40-1 on him at the moment is attractive to me. And then as we go farther, I think DraftKings does not want you to bet Kevin Na, but there's other books that wouldn't mind if you bet Kevin Na. Pat,
I like Na this week. Basically, he's been doing everything well outside of driving, and where he doesn't feel the need to try to amp it up a little bit because this isn't a long course. Just hit some fairways. His iron play has been out of control. He's averaging almost 5 strokes gained over the past 3 starts, and he hasn't gone nuclear on the greens in a while. He's been good, but we haven't seen like the 7, 8, 9, 10 strokes gained putting that we get from him from time to time. So I like Answer and Nah. They're by far my 2 favorites.
Yeah, and it's weird because I'm seeing a Nah 60 at a book that like can sometimes give enhanced, but when you look at the market, I think 60 might be its peak by the time they post enhanced, right?
I would think so. Like I see the site that you're talking about right now. I'm going to go bet that's 60. So Nah 60 with an each way, easy game.
Oh my God, I'd like to bet it also, but my phone, like I have to. In this new world where I live, Pat, like there's like hardcore geolocating. So I have to turn on this like special app I've been forced to download that confirms I'm located where I'm located.
So I can't access that site from my desktop anymore, but I can from my phone. I don't know why.
Anyhow, we agree on that. So Kevin Na, yeah, I like that number. There's that 60. I think Davis Riley at 50 makes total sense. I'm kind of surprised. I thought he would almost have. I guess I'm not surprised. I thought like he could have done what Cam Young did. At least the stat showed with how hard it was playing that if there was anybody who could have maybe was statistically most likely Saturday morning to maybe make a move, I thought Riley. Yeah, where else? Let me go a little farther.
We're in the 30 to 60 here.
Okay. Yeah, no. So that's about it. Not the back. And I'm really attracted to some players at 40 to 1 that I just stand for, like Finau and Fleetwood. But I totally agree with the answer. I could get there. I mentioned Burns. Okay, nice little. I could see a nice little mid-pack card forming here in the range that I love to bet. Berger, do we just need to see more health, or is this not a really fair quality number in this sort of event?
He was the one I wanted to bring up, and I think this is just reflective of how bad of a week he had at the PGA Championship, but he's won at this course before. Do you think there's anything to guys that, because I'm going to bet Hoagie as a spoiler as we go down the list. I think there's something to winning at Pebble Beach and winning here. I think they're not like they're old-timey type courses, like classical type courses. They're not very long. They have these little tiny greens. This one is far less impacted by the wind than Pebble Beach can be, but we haven't seen Pebble Beach really be that impacted by the wind in a really long time in terms of it really decimating the field and playing super tough. I think that's a pretty decent crossover if you wanted to look at it.
I could be there. So you're telling me when we nip a little farther back, I'm allowed to mention Mav McNeely, whose game is kind of going in not the greatest way, but I've kind of been stuck betting him as some of his form has disappeared. Didn't have him last week, but I certainly had him at the Nelson. No, he's fine at the Nelson. So we talking Mav McNeely as we go to the next tier or what?
100%.
Yeah, beautiful. Like that we're on the same page. Shoot, there was one more thing I wanted to mention. Sungjae. I'm not 100% sure if he had COVID, Pat, or some insane South Korean COVID protocols just made it impossible. He couldn't get here. I'm not sure what it was. So if he can play, I wouldn't worry that he was like, there's a chance he wasn't actually sick. It was just a really unfortunate situation that forced him to withdraw.
When I put out the odds on Twitter on Monday morning, people were like smitten with Bubba, which I found really strange.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not there. Where is he?
I'm not there either. He's at 60 to 1. Bryson is 60 to 1.
You bet him last week. You had it refunded. Why not try again?
I mean, what if he was healthy, Bryson, what would he be in this field? 12? 20?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because Thomas and what's it called are the hottest in the world and Spieth is incredible. So yeah, he'd probably be there with like Morikawa right now if he was just adequate Bryson, like not winning, but just like showing that he's healthy being Bryson.
Yes.
15, 16, yeah.
He's actually 100 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. That's crazy.
I saw that. I'm seeing it right now, I should say. That is potentially interesting.
Did I miss Hoagie on here? Oh, there he is. No.
The field does seem a little too strong for, well, he is Bryson to just sort of, it's still not telling. When you're located somewhere and your phone's telling you you're not located there, what is more tilting than that?
I can think of lots of things that are more tilting than that.
On a Monday, trying to make a golf bet?
What if you witness someone on marathon day walk in to a store with their medal on, as someone did yesterday?
No! So he's just walking around the store, and the clerk's like, why is Warren from Something About Mary here?
100%. What do we do with like me? What do you do with Mito?
You probably, if Mito just finishes like 11th place, 8th place, where Stuart Sink is.
Let's flip it the other way. Let's say Mito comes. Let's say he comes in third, but he's not holding the lead on the 72nd hole. He's
comes in third, and he shot a 67 like JT and Rory,
or even just basically what Cam Young did. Like he just has sort of like a 72 or something like that. Comes in third place. Like, hey, he had a good week, because he did have a good week, but it doesn't seem that way.
You are probably right. It's not all not all finishing positions feel the same, and we joke about that a lot on the show over the years. Had he just had Cam Young's week, I would probably be like 50 at a place where he could just unleash and hope things bounce his way. You're right. I think a lot of like the ecosystem we're in would be banging the table for it. We'd almost have gone to bed last night in that like community, what are odds going to be ecosystem, being like, I can't wait to see what number are they going to give us on Mito. 50. I'm in. Like, give us the 50. So you're right. You could sort of frame it any ways. When you bring that up, it's kind of got me thinking about it. The other part is when I try to be an idiot and play armchair psychologist. Although we have seen guys turn T2s into great follow-ups. So I don't know. I'm certainly not running to bet it. Like, I'm more interested in Maverick McNeely, which is probably stupid as you kind of broke that down, kind of.
I don't know either way, because it could be like a festering thing where you blow a major championship. You don't really feel like getting out of bed for a while, and all of a sudden you're obligated to play in the tournament next week. And even joked that if he had won, it's like, I don't know if he's going to go to the Colonial or not. Anyway.
But I think Neiman was joking, like, I don't know if he's going to go to the Colonial. If like Neiman's like, I didn't even want to ask him. Like, I didn't want to say, if you win, are you going? If you like play horribly, are you going? Like Neiman's like, I didn't even want to bring that up. So I don't know. That was a tough way to go down. He's so young. It's a lot of money. Like, I'm now kind of swayed that like it's going to survive these like first two cuts as I make this card. I'm not crossing them off. Okay, so the other two were Webb and Woodland. Both played pretty well at the PGA Championship. Woodland's played at this course great over the years, by the way. Woodland I could be into. I should have mentioned him when we were sort of going through that 30 to 60 range. 50 seems incredibly fair. It does and it doesn't. Like, well, I was hoping it would be deeper, but with the names at the top of the board, it's just pushed everyone down. Yeah. Okay. 60 plus. Who you got besides Mav McNeely? Okay. I'm not betting him. Okay, good. But I want to say that I'm going to give credit to Justin Rose. Even in what he was, they showed him a lot yesterday, and I guess that comes with the profile, but he deserved it. And even tracking him a bit and had him in some lineup stuff, like, he played really well. He was kind of around pins, and I'm starting to think something could happen for this guy. Not there yet, though. Chris Kirk. Chris Kirk seems like he might be really popular this week. I, though, like you, have initially pivoted or have made my bet now because I've been properly geolocated on Kevin Na. So that is the move that I have made. Maverick McNeely, we have spoken about. And it doesn't seem like there are a ton of bodies between 60 and 100, Pat.
No, you can go above 100 if you like.
Ryan Palmer in Texas, like I didn't bet him last time because I never bet him to win, but he cashed me a slew of props, and I'll probably do things, potentially take that 80-1 and catch placings off of it, I think.
Who?
Ryan Palmer?
Oh, Palmer. Yeah. This is his home course, by the way.
He's like the Ryan Palmer T30, T40 bet might be a sure thing.
Yeah, I'd rather have Hoagie at that same price at 70.
I trust Hoagie. I trust Hoagie more.
You should. He's been much better.
Patrick Reed 100 on DraftKings.
Pass. Are you back with Reed?
No, it's been a long time since done anything, but he's not playing horribly. Like he's finally making cuts consistently. By consistently, I mean like more than not, which was not happening for a little. Like I think we're out of rock bottom. Is that fair?
It's the driver. The driver still sucks. Like he had a really good week outside of driving the ball at the PGA Championship, but ever since he switched drivers, he's been abysmal off the tee. That it just seems like that's going to bite him every time. Harmon, I gave a look to. It's a very Brian Harmony course, right?
I agree. Varner can't hit putts. Sad. Yeah, I'm not betting Harmon. I don't know.
Pan's
a weird one because I'm seeing places not having him listed, despite him being listed at other places.
Interesting. He's on a decent run. Well, he's not a great run by any means, but solid ball striking from old CT Pan over the last little bit.
Okay, just putting this out there. DraftKings does not want you betting on Troy Merritt.
Yeah, he's at 50-1.
By seeing like well,
how dare you?
Well, I'm not betting on the soul patch at 50 or 100, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's at 100 in other places. He's double the odds.
Yeah, I don't know. Fowler's playing. That's nice. Now I'm just kind of naming names. Like we've crossed 100. Is that okay? I mean,
are you going to bet? Are you going to bet Ricky Fowler?
No, I don't think so. I didn't last week at 300. I don't know that I would this week at 100. You can't not talk about Stu Sink. Off the quality major performance, he's got this insane like post major track record that even had the win last year that Tyndall tipped.
I was on him last week.
Incredible call for that like fringe DK. Like
listen, all my
him and Fox, great calls.
It's funny. All my fringe DK guys like made the cut, but it was only Sink that ended up holding on, which sucked because I think Fox was T14 going into Sunday, and he finished T55.
Boy,
not great, Ryan Fox.
No.
And List ended up making the cut, but he ended up blowing up. Who else was on there? I forget now. It's been so long. It's been a day. Can't remember anymore.
I saw Sepp Straka might have missed the most putts this week.
That's who the other guy was with Cam and Spieth.
As DK's got a 150.
It's a good number.
So really, it's the best in market. So if you're into him, and the week at the Nelson, I want to say he missed the cut, but actually, no, the week before the Nelson, where Wells Fargo, he missed the cut, but his ball striking was there too. So he's really
that was untrue.
So what happened?
He was third at the Heritage.
Yes.
He did miss the cut at Wells Fargo. He was not striping it.
What did he do at Wells Fargo?
He missed the cut. He gained off the tee, lost on approach.
Okay. Because I remember thinking about wanting to bet him at the Nelson based on some stats from Wells and not being deterred by the miscut, but I didn't. Wouldn't have mattered. 150 seems okay though.
Yeah, it really does. For someone who's been in contention at a lot of places so far this year, the numbers like David Lipsky, good God, Munoz, Lashley, Neesmith, Hoagie, those are the kind of also rans that the model likes this week. Lashley. Do you put anything into James Hahn back-to-back top tens? I would do the Hahn, but I would legitimately not be able to talk afterwards.
No.
Give myself one of that voice spray again.
Oh, that stuff's gross.
Whew. So no one.
Sahith 200.
Keith Mitchell's 200 to 1?
No, Sahith.
Oh, Sahith. Yeah, I'm good with where we're at.
Yeah, no, I like too many guys in 30 to 60, and I could potentially bet Vic at 20. So I don't need to bet these bombs. But if I did, like, I'm curious if the Smotherman bandwagon's going to return this week at 200.
It should. Smotherman's good.
Yeah, Aaron Rye continues to sort of plod along very clean at 200.
Where did he end up? Longer term, he ended up doing really well in the modeling. He does less well when you shrink it down to the short term. Vic is number one by the numbers, by the way.
And maybe this is a really unfair statement, but I wouldn't be shocked if, like, the next guy to pull a Mito, which is, you know, maybe not win, but kind of do that, would be like Sahith again. And get maybe tracked down by a great player, like what happened he's had his bad finish at Phoenix, but he's a guy that plays a lot better in like easier scoring conditions. And I think he could set up well for what Colonial wants.
All right. I think that makes sense. Let's move to the one and dones and the quick picks. Nah at 60 with the each way for me. I'm going to go with Burger and Answer. I'm just throwing them on. I'll try to find whatever the best number is. It's probably like 40 and 40 for both those guys, which seem like numbers too big, especially with the class of player that they're around. Hoagie is going to be on there. I see a 70. I'll probably play that with the each way. So those will be the 4. And then I'll take a look at whether I want to do someone at the top. Probably not. But Kirk, Riley, McNeely, Woodland, Webb Simpson. I think those guys are all on the short list for me this week. What are you thinking?
Yeah, if I go to JT, that would really change anything. That's not really my style, though, to call a back-to-back win. I don't think 12 to 1 is a bad number, though. I really do not. The form and the results are just truly remarkable week after week. Vic would be the guy if I moved farther back from there. But I really do expect things to get going for me in that range you mentioned. Burns, Answer, Burger. Oh, very tempting. Fino at 40 tempts me. The only bet I've made is not 60. And I mentioned Mav McNeely at 70 is something that I'd probably look at beside your Hoagie bet, which I'll circle around. I don't think I'm going to bet Mito. I just don't think I'm going to, despite that he's surviving an early cut or two as I try to build a card.
Tim has not given us his one and done. I think he got bullied off of Twitter. Stewie blocked, cussed.
Still real, Tim, damn it. As it should be. The Ender curse is real. If you don't want those vibes in your feed, like I can't besmirch anybody for not wanting Tim's vibes in their feed.
Yeah, but they still exist. He's still putting it out there.
That is true. I don't know. Stewie's kind of got carte blanche, Pat. Like his lifetime fantasy national. He's got carte blanche. He's got too much equity for me to say anything bad about. I think. Oh,
me the same way. I'm sure it hurt. Like so few things hurt Tim's feelings. I could see that hurting Tim's feelings.
Well played. Scotty, Stewie, Scotty.
So one and done. Tim hasn't given me his pick yet. I'll take Spieth as my one and done.
Okay, that's a good call.
You have Hovland if you want to use him.
I can't believe I haven't used them. No, we're gonna catch a bigger fish. Kevin Na, for the purposes of our game. Kevin Na, there's not a chance on earth I've used him. I love Kevin Na. To be honest, the year he won, I bet him because of a video that was out, a video of him playing the course the year before, and like how much he seemed to enjoy it. This thing with his caddy that I'll try to find. I'm like, I'm betting him to win Colonial. Like, this is enough for me.
I believe he's been first round leader here 3 times over the past 10 years.
That doesn't shock me. You know, I played first round leader first time. Like, I never do it. There might have been one Russell Henley FOMO thing I had earlier in the year that I played. Obviously, it was a loser. I played 2 first round leader bets last week. Early wave guys I bet to win and that I like. Hovland, obviously no. Willie Z, yes. So I had a second place Willie first round leader and a second place Willie tournament bet from last week, and I still love him. I love him. Happy he didn't blow away in the wind.
It seems inevitable that he's going to win one of these.
Yeah, it seems, no doubt. It's almost like it's even better than what Scheffler did like in the last 14, 16 months before this season, if that makes any sense.
It's funny because I put out the tweet last week, like Brooks's major lead up to him breaking through, Scheffler's his lead up to him breaking through, and how Zalatoris's looks exactly the same. And it feels like
you'd say that about Xander too, maybe. He wasn't young. I'm just saying, like, you can wait and think they're coming, and sometimes they don't come. Like Ricky here.
Sure.
I expect it. It's like not if it's he's so young, and it's already at the point that it's not even a matter of if, it's when. It's not if.
Okay, I was just going to make the point that it feels like once he breaks through anywhere, wherever it may be, that it'll be like a Scheffler situation. You want to talk about like floodgates getting open? It feels like it'll be that way for him. Like 3 in a row or something crazy like that.
Doesn't shock me at all. We see so many of these guys when they win, they just go fuego.
All right, Geoff Fienberg, what else you got going on this week?
Lots of fun stuff. Be recording for Odds Checker with Rick Gaiman. That'll be out Tuesday. Going live with Tuesday. I'll be going live with the boys from BetSperts at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. I always enjoy that. Should be a nice little Team JT moment, as I'm sure that's happening all around the golf Twitter sphere. And that's all that's on my mind. You're going to play Cabot at the end of the week. I'm having another surgery, so we're going in 2 different directions.
For anyone mad at Tim over Mito, I beat him by 16 strokes on Saturday.
That's big, right? You guys usually play like pretty good matches.
He is having a rough start to the year. Like, he's playing a lot worse than his baseline, and I'm playing a bit better.
You're also playing like way more, like just in knowing you and like your current situation, like you're getting a groove that you were never able to get like the last 8 years.
Yeah, but I'm playing as much as him now.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
which is way more for me.
Yes. Good. Keep kicking his ass, I guess. We enjoy it.
Yeah, we're up to, we've had 3 matches so far in our season-long bet. I'm up 3-0. So, although that was the same, I think I was up 4-0 on him last year. Then he beat me 5 times in a row. So you can't take this stuff for granted.
Nope, not at all.
But yes, I will be. I'm actually heading up to Cabot tonight.
Oh.
To play Tuesday and Wednesday, but I will have the DraftKings Pick show come out on Tuesday morning with Tyler Tambolini, who, if you didn't watch the Cut Sweat show or paid attention to Twitter, won $100K on Friday Showdown. So we'll be talking about that. And then on Wednesday, me, Tambo, and Raza have a DraftKings strategy show that we filmed last week for release this week. So a bunch of good golf stuff coming out, which is helpful because I barely have a voice left to speak of. Play in the Listeners League, smash a like on the way out, rate and review the show. And I want to thank you guys so much for coming through. Oh, I have to give out winners. Shit, I totally forgot about that. To give out winners for the draws of last week. I'll do that on the Tuesday show. Tune into the Tuesday show. I mean, you'll know if you won anyway, because I'll DM you on Twitter. But either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!